Pokemon TCG Live Beta wasn't ready for a global launch. Pokemon TCG Live is now available for every device around the world, but after a year in beta, it still needs a lot of work. Pokemon TCG Live finally expanded its beta globally this week, but it probably shouldn't have. The release was marred by excessive technical difficulties that not only interrupted access to the game, but caused some players to lose packs and cards. Beyond those not uncommon launches, the game itself is buggy, frustrating to navigate, poorly designed in some ways, and missing essential features from the previous iteration. PTCGL is still in beta, but after almost a year in closed access, I expected it to be much further along than this. My introduction to the Pokemon TCG Live was not a pleasant experience. It crashed during the tutorial, and when I logged back in, it skipped ahead to the end as though I'd completed it. After a few practice matches, it then tries to teach you how to collect rewards on the Battle Pass, craft cards, and build decks, but this entire tutorial chain was also broken. I got an error when I tried to collect the reward currency, which meant I didn't have the resources to craft the sample card, which meant I couldn't edit the deck the way I was instructed. None of these issues slowed down or interrupted the tutorial, though, which moves along as if everything had worked properly, leaving me with an illegal deck I had to re-edit back on the way it started. This was not a great first impression, and everyone I talked to had the same experience. So some more L's for PTCGL, it sounds like, unfortunately. Then I tried to redeem one of the code cards I've been hoarding all year from packs I've opened. After a delay, the first one went through and added 10 new cards to my collection. I then tried to redeem 10 more codes, the max you're allowed to redeem at once for some reason still, and got an error message. I didn't get any cards, and then all 10 codes now show redeemed. I tried again with 10 more codes because I'm a foolish man, and now I'm out 20 code cards, equivalent to $80 worth of booster packs with nothing to show for it. I don't recommend redeeming any of your codes for the time being. I feel like that's a little bit misleading. Equivalent to $80 worth of booster packs, but you didn't spend $80. Like, you didn't just get 20 codes for $80. I feel like that's like a little bit misleading. Between the three queues, ranked, standard casual, and expanded casual, only the ranked queue works. I'm still not able to claim any of the battle pass or daily challenge rewards, which means I also can't buy or craft any cards. Server issues and buggy launches are nothing new to me, and I'd be more willing to have patience with Pokemon TCG Live, but the problem is that even when it works, I'm disappointed in what it has to offer. TCG Live feels like a downgrade from TCG Online. I feel the same, not an improvement. The menus are more difficult to navigate due to small buttons and a confusing flow. The board layout is cluttered and overwhelming. I agree, especially on mobile. The things I liked about TCGO aren't here. Things that seem like basic features in any digital TCG seem to be missing here. I've been saying this. This is literally what I've been saying. Things that seem like basic features in any digital TCG, like if you play any other TCG, seem to be missing here. There's no collection tab to look at your cards. If you want to see what you own, you have to create or edit one of your decks. Even then, only your standard legal cards will be visible. If you want to see your entire collection, you have to toggle to the casual queue, then select the, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this thing existed. They have to select the expanded format, then create a deck, then you can see your full collection. I didn't even know that was a thing. The actual matches have a lot more animation than TCG Online and effects that look great. I agree with that, but the formatting on mobile is confusing. I have yet to try mobile. Like Marvel Snap, PTCGL is played vertically, which means as soon as you have more than 3 cards in your hand, they slide off the screen and you have to swipe back and forth to see them all. You need to tap every element to inspect it, but the bench, deck, discard, and prize pile for both players are so crammed together, it's hard to select the thing you actually want to see unless you're inspecting a card. All the text is blurry and unreadable. Yep, I thought that might be a resolution issue when I was playing on PC, but cards look blurry on mobile and tablet too. That's unfortunate to hear. I didn't know that. I haven't played mobile yet, but it sounds like it's an improvement, but not too much of an improvement over desktop. And then there's the big feature changes. PTCGO no longer has a marketplace for trading. That's fine, which is something that made the TCGO unique. Instead, it has a crafting system similar to Hearthstone. I think I can get used to that eventually, even if it feels like a big loss right now. No, that's an L take. But the thing I'll never get over is the removal of the theme deck queue. Oh, bro, that's true. I mean, they're not making theme decks anymore, so it's fair. Bro, they're also a big theme deck stand. Let's go. One of us. Yo, appreciate the 57 months there, swag. H2 wrote this. Bro, they also a big theme deck fan. Yeah, they stopped making theme decks. If they had still made them, they of course would have kept the theme deck queue, of course. I kind of wish it still existed personally. The Pokemon TCG has started moving away from theme decks throughout the Sword and Shield generation, so the new version of the digital TCG doesn't have them either. Unfortunately, that means that isn't There isn't a way for players to jump in with a pre-made deck and battle other players with decks of equal power. The beauty of Theme Deck Queue was that everyone was on equal footing, but nothing like that exists in the new version. It would be cool. I mean, it would be cool if they give you like starter decks to work with, and you go play on the casual ladder, which would effectively be the same thing. So I think that's like a unnecessary critique, I guess. It's like, that's true, but they give you pre-made decks when you get your account, and then you can go play on the casual ladder, which is like effectively the same thing. It gives you 8 pre-made decks, but you can change the contents of these decks, and there's no specific queue to use them. Your chances of winning games with these pre-made decks against players running the top tier meta decks is very slim, and while you can still climb the battle pass and earn rewards, when you losing games with a lousy deck isn't exactly fun. This is true. If you want to play a PTCGL and actually win games, you're going to have to construct a competitive deck, which is easier said than done when crafting and redeeming are currently broken. What if they brought like the V battle decks? Why didn't they just like add V battle decks to PTCG Live? And like, what is it, like, how many V battle decks come out per set? I don't even know how V battle decks work. Is it like 2 V battle decks per set, or do they even do them anymore? Like, what happened to V battle decks? I haven't heard anything about them in a little while. Are they still a product that is like happening consistently? What they should do is, if V battle decks still exist and V battle decks are too strong, well, no, you would just have only V battle decks up against V battle decks. You want to like put them up against theme decks. If you had V battle decks, if you had like a V battle deck queue, they do them whenever. There was a Mew one last week. Oh, that was a Mew. That was a V battle deck. Okay, yeah. And then the V battle decks should just be like free on PTCG Live. I don't know. Maybe you could do that. I don't know how that would work. Actually, you could do it like that. You could have a V battle deck queue on PTCG Live where you don't own the cards, but you can play all the V battle decks up against other people playing V battle decks. But you don't get to actually own any of the cards. You don't own any of the V battle cards. You just get to play any of those decks in a V battle queue, so it allows you to like kind of play the game and like earn rewards with the V battle decks. And like, maybe if you play enough games with certain V battle decks, it would be like you could unlock them for cheaper. Like, the more you play with them, the easier it is to unlock all the cards in the deck, and then you can take those cards to like standard or something. I don't know, just like kind of have like a free way to play the game. That is, because that does make sense. Like, if you just take one of the pre-made decks, you can't really play ranked on it and have fun. You could maybe take it to the casual ladder, but I don't even know what the casual ladder will end up looking like. So, having like a V battle deck ladder where you can play all the V battle decks, but you don't own those cards. You just get to access those cards on the V battle ladder. The more you play with the decks, like, you get to unlock them for cheaper eventually or something. I don't know. Okay. Again, this is technically a beta, and anything could change. I'll admit, though, that I'm surprised at how lousy the supposedly new and improved app feels to play. Yes, especially when certain regions have had access to it for almost a year already. Mobile support is a huge benefit, but if you're an active TCGO player, I wouldn't recommend migrating to PTCGL until you have no other choice. Bro, they get it. There's no way to migrate back if you change your mind. And right now, the cons far outweigh the pros of switching to the new version. Is that the end? All right, let's take a look at the... All right, I mean, that's a lot of my criticisms of the game, actually. Let's take a look at the Kotaku article. Don't migrate to PokemonTCG Live until you've read this warning. At a private beta today, the new way to play PokemonTCG Online has some serious flaws. Ultimately, the goal of the PokemonTCG Live is to replace the decade-old... Wait, is this the exact same article? Didn't the other one start like that? Maybe these are going to be pretty similar, to be honest. All right, let's go through it. Ultimately, the goal of PokemonTCG Live is to replace the decade-old PokemonTCG Online as the way to play the enormously popular card game over the internet. However, as of today's global beta release, given the bugs and many issues we've experienced, we'd strongly suggest you avoid it for now. However, if you're determined, then for goodness sakes, read on to find out what you must do first. PokemonTCG Online PTCGO is undeniably a wobbly old piece of software, struggling to maintain internet connections on tablet and a clunky thing to handle on PC. It's certainly not fit for purpose, but there's a lot of room for improvement. Wait, what? It's certainly fit for purpose. Okay. But there's a lot of room for improvement. The intention is that such improvement will come in the form of PokemonTCG Live, PTCGL, in various betas for the last couple of years and delayed from its intended release in 2021. It's finally able to everyone to download today, while PTCGO remains available until the beta is over. It's just, well, I wouldn't be switching yet. Just yet. The major issue is migrating your account into PTCG Live means never ever being able to log back into PTCGO. It absolutely warns you this will happen when you opt into migration, but it's far too easy to miss just how serious the consequences of this are. I experienced that firsthand, how much there is to lose. Then when you do, you've moved from a relatively stable version of the game, true, to one that I'm surprised the Pokemon Company saw fit to release worldwide. Oh, the thing is though, like I don't even know how much involvement the Pokemon Company has. Like, is obviously TPCI is making the product. Is TPCI kind of doing this kind of independent of the Pokemon Company, or were they just like, and maybe that's why they have no access to like licensed characters and stuff, which is something that they've mentioned. Like they don't have access besides the cards themselves with the images of the Pokemon on them. They don't have like access to any of the licensed Pokemon material. Like characters like Ash, right? Although I think that would be way cooler if you could make your avatar just one of the professors or characters from Pokemon. I think that'd be way better, and maybe change their outfits or something. I don't know. Is TPCI not Pokemon? I mean, TPCI is Pokemon, but the Pokemon Company and TPCI are like they are separate, right? Like the worldwide thing is pretty crazy. Was it like we need more feedback? I mean, maybe that's. Well, how could you need more feedback? All right, but I don't understand how they need more feedback when there's so many issues with the game already. TPCI and TPC, yeah, they are different companies, right? So yeah, is TPCI doing this independent of the Pokemon Company? I'm sure there had to be some communication on it, right? I'm sure there had to be some communication between the Pokemon Company and TPCI, right? Yeah. Expanding the beta to worldwide is interesting when there seems like there were so many things to already fix about PTCGL. That getting more information on more things that you could possibly need to be fixed doesn't really like make a whole ton of sense to me. Like why did we go, why did we expand the beta so much when there's still so many things to be fixed already? Like what do you need more information on here? Now this has just led to more backlash, I guess, because the product is definitely not ready. And I think one thing as well is like you can always make the argument PTCG Live is in beta, but you have to compare it to the expectations from where the bar is set, right? Because like PTCG Live could have launched in beta where it was basically TCG1 where you have to basically drag and drop everything. And it could have eventually throughout the beta been built up to something that is similar to PTCGO. But would you make the argument then that, oh, it's just in beta? Like the bar is set by, you're in a marketplace of trying to sell a trading card game or a card game client digital product. The bar is set by your competitors around you, and this is not even coming close to that bar, right? And if you're someone else who has experienced other online card game clients, I feel like most people I've talked about who have played Hearthstone or Marvel Snap agree that PTCG Live is not meeting that bar. You can once again make the argument it's in beta, but the beta for Hearthstone was miles ahead of the beta for PTCG Live, and that was 10 years ago? When did Hearthstone beta come out? Maybe like 6 years ago, 7 years ago? It was a long time ago. We're 7 years in the future, and now a beta for a arguably bigger company. I don't know, TPCI, I don't know if that's bigger than Blizzard. The Pokemon Company is bigger than Blizzard, but TPCI probably isn't bigger than Blizzard. But still, 7-8 year difference, you'd assume the beta drop for PTCG Live would be at least on par with the beta drop from Hearthstone, all that time ago. So that's kind of the big thing. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if PTCG Live beta dropped, last year when it did, and everything was drag and drop, Blizzard's a video game company and TPCI is not, to be fair. That's just not how it, but then just hire a video game company to make your video game. Or hire people who are better at making a video game to make your video game. You know what I'm saying? Pokemon is still the #1 brand in the world. So you've got the money theoretically. So hire people who can do what Blizzard did, or at least get close. They did. It was called Direwolf. Yeah, but PTCGO was like lacking so much compared to, once again, its competitors, to where the bar was set by the Hearthstones and the Marvel Snaps. So you need to do better than PTCGO, and maybe if they paid Direwolf more, Direwolf would have been able to do that, but maybe Direwolf wasn't the right fit for trying to do that. And it sounds like maybe the solution was to bring on, they think the solution was to bring on this in-house team of developers to make it, but obviously that's not going very well. If someone asked EA or Tencent to make live, they 100%. Yeah, why was Tencent? I think Tencent would have been like, Tencent sound just sounds like the perfect people to contact and be like, all right, make this game. Like, yeah, why was Tencent? Tencent literally made Unite, right? Why was Tencent not the developers behind this? You know what I'm saying? So that's not a reasonable excuse. You can't just be like, oh, well, Blizzard's a video game company. It's like, okay, sure, but that's like not the point. Like, when people want to go make, Marvel is not a video game company. They're comic books and movies, and then they pay people to make video games for them, right? With the Spider-Man video games or Marvel Snap that just came out, they pay companies to make the video games for them, right? Video game companies, and Pokemon could have done the same thing, right? But instead, they decided to bring on the in-house development team, which is fine if it works. I don't think that's bad. I don't know anything about the development space in terms of that. So if that is like theoretically likely to be more successful, then sure, hire the in-house development team to do it. But so far from what we've seen, it's not as successful as hiring a company to make the game for you. Marvel's comic books and pays another. Yeah, exactly. So you could. I don't even know like the set for that, but yeah. But comparing TPCI dev team to Blizzard dev team isn't the same thing. But I'm not comparing the dev teams, Dillinger. I'm talking about the idea that people at TPCR were like, okay, we're gonna create this product, and the way they went about it has been executed very poorly. I don't care that. Okay, maybe I did. Did I make that comparison? I don't know if I made that comparison. My point is TPCI is at fault for putting out a shitty product. Product is subpar, and TPCI is at fault for putting out a subpar product. Unless they're just content with the subpar product and me complaining about it, then I guess I'm just going to keep complaining about it. Let's move on to the next part. Go spend your coins or they're gone. Those who've been playing PTCGO for a while will inevitably have a teetering pile of Pokecoins they've won, with which packs of cards and decorative items could be bought. Migrate to PTCGL. Well, you've lost them all. There's apparently some sort of conversion to an amount of PTCGL crystals currency, but it's opaque, and the two opaque, is that the right way to use the word opaque? Is that even the and the two currencies aren't equivalent. You definitely want to go online and spend as many of them as you can before they're lost. You have to export your battle decks or they're lost. This one I had no clue at all. While migrating your account to PTCGL, it will bring across your card collection as well as some of your card boxes, sleeves, and coins, although it's not clear which ones won't make it, and also acknowledges your pre-Sun and Moon cards even though you currently can't play them. It just won't bother importing your personal created battle decks. I feel like this is not a huge deal. It is a thing, but this is utterly mysterious and frankly just damn stupid. It does kind of seem weird that they didn't import your decks though, because it's still the same import system for importing a deck. How could it not take the code from the deck and just put it into a deck in PTCG Live? That's curious. Of course, once again, I'm not a developer, so if that's something that's just not possible or too far to go out of the way to make possible, I think it's reasonable. It's utterly mysterious and frankly just damn stupid. Having missed this detail, every hand-built deck I've made is now just gone forever, and it's not as if there's an elegant solution for those who do know in advance. In order to keep your own battle decks, you need to log into PTCGO and then export the text of your deck list to a text file. To do this, go to Deck Manager, then View Deck, then Export Deck, which you can save as a text file or Word file. If you do this for every single deck and then migrate your account to PTCGL, you can copy this text into PTCGL's deck editor via the deck creator, import, deck menu option. But if you migrate first, there's absolutely no way to extract his data from the old app. Given it's apparently as simple as a text file swap, it's beyond stupid that this is an automated process of account migration. I mean, that seems reasonable to me that it should be able to be carried over. It's one thing that I'm a little bit, I just don't care about because I'm always building the new best decks or trying to, so. I think PGL is shit, but this article is written by Kotaku and thus is also shit. That's going to be worse for the people who are reading the article then. They're going to hate PTCG Live. It limits how many cards you can import and destroys the rest. When you import your account, it will only bring across a maximum of 4 of any card. Why? According to FAQ, just because instead more than 4 of anything you have in your collection is just burned for 0 compensation. Wait, that's not true though, right? Is it? Do they get burned for 0 compensation? This gets worse for Apex, Prism Stars, Pokemon Star cards, where you only keep 1 of each. The same is true for each quarter of a Pokemon V card. Why? It just is. There's also a bizarre decision to only allow you to bring over 59 of any basic energy type. 59? Well, it's not super bizarre. The reason is that to build a deck of Pokemon cards, you need to have a basic Pokemon at least in the deck. So theoretically, you can't use more than 59 of each basic energy. So that's not bizarre. Oh, and if you're wondering how you can see the cards in your collection now, outside of deck building, you can only find them by looking in the shop. Yep, seriously. It's a buggy beta. It's not like PTCGO was the world's most reliable piece of software. True, seemingly a butterfly farting. Seemingly a butterfly farting near your Wi-Fi was for enough to knock you back to the login screen, and its load times were not impressive. Load time. This is that. I mean, I've had like PTCGO like that doesn't happen that often, and it's load time. Well, maybe for Wi-Fi. I never use Wi-Fi to play PTCGO, so that's possible. Load times were not impressive. I feel like the load times in PTCGO were never a big deal, but PTCGO just seems a cluster of issues right now. Sure, it's a beta, but that's understandable. But given importing your account to it seems never being able to go back to the better version, it's definitely information you'll want to know. One of the best features of PTCGL is the Battle Pass, which is a much more sophisticated version than the fortnightly unlockable items in its predecessor. True. However, most of the time as I use this new software, it just tells me it's not accessible. Unlucky. It did this for me. In fact, right in the middle of the enforced tutorial, meaning I was locked up on a page. I wasn't allowed to leave, but couldn't do anything with it. I had to quit out and start over right in the middle of the game's apparent attempts to give me some Silver Tempest Lugia-based cards, and I also have no idea now if any of it worked. After winning battles I've played since I've wanted to see my progression, but I'm just getting told that this feature is not available now. Not impressive. Also, not impressive is finding every time you open the app that the game's had to disable one of the keys elements for the game's new meta. For Sealstone, these V-Star giving tools are a brand new mechanic for Silver Tempest, and one of them is already banned from play due to not working properly in PTCGL. That is an L for sure. Oh, and possibly less important, the game's new avatars keep changing themselves without warning, meaning the guy I built to look a bit like my son, it keeps switching himself over to a really douchey pair of sunglasses. Just only sunglasses. It turns to just a pair of sunglasses. There's no functioning swear filter. While I can't wait for my 8-year-old son to log in and play against Fuckle Shuckle. Well, I can't wait for my 8-year-old son to log in and play against Fuckle Shuckle. Or what is everyone's favorite? Who's the player who played Durant all the time? Oh yeah, Lombre Kill Room, yeah. The new in-game currencies are bewildering. One of the best things about PTCGO was that despite the obvious billions that could have been made, true, it never allowed real-world money to be spent in-game. While its infrastructure was absolutely built around these code cards you get in Pokemon card products, those always feel like a bonus extra, never a reason you'd buy anything, allowing the online game to feel like a freebie. Exactly. No one actually like bought Pokemon products to get codes to input the codes. It's just when you bought the products, you had the codes, you input the codes, which some people still don't understand for some reason and think that PTCG Live is going to be a way for Pokemon to make money by people going out of their way to buy booster packs to get codes to input to PTCG Live, which is ridiculous. Currently, the same is true for PTCG Live, with no way to buy anything directly within the app. However, it seems unbearably inevitable given the bewildering number of new currencies it supports. I also think this is a huge problem and makes no sense. It seems unbearably inevitable. Okay, given the bewildering number of new currencies it sports. So, I mean, that is actually a fair take with like how many currencies they have available. That would make you think that they are going to allow you to buy one of them at some point. But they basically already said they plan to make PTCG Live and keep PTCG Live free to play and never have a way to buy stuff. But 3 currencies is just ridiculous. It's so dumb. Just get rid of one of the currencies, please. Like, why? They should only be one currency. Oh, no. I guess you need credits. Yeah, you just need like 2 currencies, credits, and a way to buy stuff. There shouldn't be 3 currencies. It's absurd. You still have gold coins, which are gained by leveling up, completing quests, reaching battle pass tiers, and which can be bought with crystals. Crystals are gained by leveling up, completing quests, and reaching battle pass tiers. But they can also be spent on getting the premium pass for the battle pass, which allows you to unlock more crystals than there are credits. These can be gained by, you guessed it, leveling up and achieving new tiers in the battle pass. But you can also recycle cards you gain over the new for maximum limit for credits and use them to buy individual cards in the deck editor. Confused? I think that's the idea. Yeah, obviously triple currencies are weird. Double currency seems fine because obviously, like, I think separating credits from a way to buy stuff makes sense. I think you should be able. I think it's fine. I think it is fine if you ever have more than 4 of anything for it to automatically dust or to be credited. I think that's fine. But I also think that you should be able to credit any card you want. Like if you just have 4 Electrode V and you're like, I'm never gonna play this Electrode V deck, I'm just gonna turn these into credits, because it would allow you to just kind of play what you want, which is kind of the point of the model of the game they're making, where they're trying to make it free to play and have everything be pretty readily accessible to the players. But then they're like, oh, but you can't but you can't dust any card you want, and already it's like sounds like it's currently hard to make any deck you want within a reasonable amount of time free to play. So let me switch up. Of all of them, the only one you generally want are crystals, so you'll never guess which is the hardest to come by. And by far the dumbest aspect to unlock the Battle Premium Pass, you need crystals, which it suggests you gain by winning them in the Battle Pass, but they're only rewarded in that's right, the Premium Battle Pass. It's surely impossible that one of these madly overlapping Fox coins, is that how you say that? Fox coins, is that how you say Fox? Won't eventually become available for a small cash sum. Definitely seems possible. I don't think they will, though. They basically already said that they don't want to do that. But, capitalism. We've reached out to the Pokemon Company, see if they'll share any plans. I doubt they did. Trading is... oh, they don't have any, follow-up to that. We've reached out to them, see if they'll share any plans, but they'll follow up to that. Okay. Trading is gone. Honestly, I find this one of the most shocking changes, and certainly not one that you're warned about when migrating. PTCGL has no trading option, thank goodness, which is just the biggest shame. Not really. In PTCGL, if there was a particular card you really wanted or needed, you could go get scammed on the card market. You could go look through the trading section to see what others would be willing to swap for it. If it wasn't there, you could suggest your own trade, leave it for 24 hours and see if anyone would bite. It was a lovely online version of one of the key elements of any scam system. Of any TCG, and it's such a bummer that this pyramid scheme, that is entirely eliminated in the update. We've asked the Pokemon Company if it might ever come back. Hopefully not. You will eventually have to switch. There's no hiding it from it in the end. PTCGO is intended to be sunsetted as soon as PTCG Live is ready to leave the beta. The Pokemon Company is still being cagey about when it will be, but very open and clear that its time is almost up. The company promises that there will be plenty of warning before the older version is switched off for good. Interesting. Well, yeah, it sounds like... no one's really having too much fun with the PTCG Live full global beta release. I don't know. As always, we can only hope things will improve, but I feel like it's going to take years. It feels like it'll take years for it to get to the point where it'll actually feel better than PTCGO, which really sucks.